Okay, okay. Then it's okay. Oh, yes. Yes, I put it into the garderobe. So I think yes. So what's on? I mean, I'll also come in. Yeah, I'll come in.
Okay, welcome everybody today. I'm happy that all of you are joining us. We have a very exciting program scheduled for you. And before we dive into today's topic, I think it would be very nice if we can have the two co-hosts of today. I will briefly tell you who they are and how come we got them here. So we have Nicole Keller, who's the director of GreenUp Davos. Who will be joining us. And we have Christina Jaeger, co-founder and managing director of Yunus Environment Hub. Nicole is here because obviously as the director of GreenUp Davos, she's passionately advocating sustainability in this region and abroad. And she has been doing this work and advancing circular economy in different ways. And I'm sure she'll tell you a little bit about that. And then we have Christina with us, who is a dedicated advocate for sustainability and environmental stewardship. She's a co-founder and managing director of the Yunus Environment Hub, and she leads different efforts to address global environmental challenges through various innovative products and places and initiatives. They are operating all over the world, and we're very honored that both of these ladies have decided to join forces and create an amazing program for us today. So I will give the mic to both of you. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. So a warm welcome from me, also on behalf of the Climate Hub Davos, and that you're all here. The Climate Hub Davos is a open space for co-creation to really work on the future we all want and need, not just for the planet, but actually for ourselves. And we have had many, many wonderful sessions and interactions, and we're very much looking forward to do so also tonight. So wishing you an inspiring late afternoon with a very varied program.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for coming. I'm very honored to stand here in front of all of you for this important event at the Climate Hub Davos, and I would like to thank sincerely Nicole and the team from GreenUp and hosting us here today. I think here at the World Economic Forum, it becomes very clear how interconnected all of the challenges are that we are currently facing. The climate crisis is showing us more and more how like testing our resilience, resource depletion is accelerating, and we need to ensure that nobody is left behind in the transition from moving away from the traditional linear systems in our production and consumption patterns to a new vision of creating a circular economy and a circular society. At Yunus Environment Hub, we are inspired by Professor Yunus' vision of creating a world of 3 zeros: zero poverty, zero unemployment, and zero net carbon emissions. And we leverage social business on creating this transformative change. And I would like to urge all of you as innovators, as change makers, as leaders, to think about on how you can contribute towards that vision. Whether it's forging cross-sector partnerships, whether it's funding circular social businesses, or changing policies. All of us, we need to contribute towards this vision and ensuring that nobody is left behind. And I wish all of us a fantastic afternoon. It's going to be very interactive. We have amazing speakers and presenters. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
So without further ado, my name is Jeannie van den Heuvel. I'll be hosting you throughout the program. I will also later be opening up conversations. So be ready to ask questions later. Be inspired by everybody and everything that you hear. It is my honor to have Harold Friedel with us on stage. He's going to be talking about the global perspectives on systemic change and the challenges we're facing today, and thoughts about how we can collectively move forward. Harold has, please join me already on stage. He's the founder of Green Leadership, and he is the former CEO of Circle Economy. And as such, he has a very diverse and wide background into all thoughts circular economy. It is my honor to give the mic to him, and you will see me popping in and out of this stage to each time prepare you for the next session and the next part. So please enjoy.
Thank you so much. I'm very humbled and honored to speak here to all of you today. I'm also very nervous. I've done this many hundreds of times potentially, but I find it very challenging to put my finger on what's happening in Davos in 2025. And I don't just want to talk about circularity, system change. I'm considered a global expert. I'm not. I'm truly a student of this for a long time already. But it's every day such a humbling experience what we can do and what the problems we are facing. And I try to make it relevant to what we are all experiencing here. Because we are in a collective consciousness, and I find sometimes what people are talking on the street and feeling is very different what we're reading in the headlines and what we are observing in the media. I'm a self-proclaimed circular economist, and when people ask me what this is, I say I'm busy with putting into practice how the world should be, rather than still playing into the old paradigm and continuing a work under an old narrative that doesn't work anymore. And this is not about finger pointing, it's just saying and trying to state the facts that we have to get as soon as possible into a new paradigm. And I've been doing this, advising hundreds of companies and cities and businesses in my work as CEO of Circular Economy, now as an independent change maker. And I'm also advising the climate change negotiation, and there I'm the lead for industrial decarbonization, so all the heavy industry. And we're obviously trying also to bring circular practices there. I'm combining a background as a policymaker. I was advisor to our Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister in Austria. I'm Austrian. And at the same time, trying to be a leader of change, also starting in Asia with impact hubs. And on the government side, I was also the ambassador for circular economy in my country, which is kind of a stakeholder, a bridge builder between the public and the private. So that's a bit me, and I'm super passionate about this topic. It doesn't feel like work, but I want to start with you, actually. And I want to hear from a couple of people how they feel today, very honestly, because I had very interesting conversations yesterday. It was not always positive feelings. Anybody who wants to share how they feel today? Please, very briefly. Oh, you can shout. It's okay. We're in a small, intimate crowd.
I feel extremely blessed. I feel extremely surrounded by people who are conscious and
Amazing.
And I feel really the energy here. I wish we could spread that around the world.
Thank you. Who else? Please. Please in the back, yeah?
I feel really optimistic because I've talked to many young people over the last days and they have lots of drive and motivation to make change happen.
Thank you. Please, you?
I felt very frustrated in many places, and every time I enter the GreenUp Climate Hub space, my mood completely changed because here I get a lot of optimism and hope and so many good ideas, and it's just a beautiful crowd that comes together here.
Thank you so much. One last person who wants to share how they feel? Please.
So for me, I'm a modern day shaman, a very spiritual person. So it's amazing for me how many people I meet here in the surrounding events who are actually also on the way of spiritual awakening or somewhere far. And that's for me a very optimistic view. So to meet more and more people who are more aware and have a higher level of consciousness. And I think that's what we need as a support to really move that transformation forward.
Thank you so much. And I know you all have feelings. I don't want to be disrespectful of them, but we don't have enough time, unfortunately, today to share all of them. I find this very positive feeling here in the room quite extraordinary. There are also other settings here where it's much more dense. And it's interesting what you mentioned about spirituality, which is sometimes a non-word in a Davos context, but let's say human development. That spiritually speaking, we are at the moment collectively somehow stuck, that's what spiritual leaders say, in the third chakra. Do you know what the third chakra is about? Willpower. It's about willpower. It's about the willpower to go for ourselves and or decide to surrender and try to go for the collective. I think that's a bit what I'm facing here in what we are facing here in Davos. Is this now going forward or back? Because this is interesting. And Davos is for me an interesting place because 7 years ago, 2018, we presented the first global circularity gap report. So for the first time, we kind of came together as a community that works on the topic of circularity and said, how circular is the world? In 2018, so this was 7 years ago, the rate was 9%. Now, there was a lot of discussions about it, if it's 9.2 or 7.6 or 10.4. But the point we wanted to make is that the circularity rate is very small. And the opportunity to improve is very big. What does the circularity rate mean? It means the amount of materials and stuff that is wasted, either it's buried or burned, is 91%. Now, 7 years later, we have gone into the wrong direction. So the optimism we are seeing here is not always reflected by what is happening outside there. Interesting. This presentation doesn't show the pictures I put into it. Okay, that's sad. Here I wanted to show to you about narratives. In 2019, and here is supposed to be a photo that is very strange, of the person who became the hero of the 2019 Davos debate. I don't know if you remember that. It was a Dutch historian, Rutger Bregman. And he said, I'm feeling like at the convention of firefighters, but we don't speak about water. And then he said, we should talk about taxes, taxes, taxes. I don't know if you remember that. Now, I think he's an amazing guy, and he set a school up for moral ambition in Amsterdam now. But what I didn't like so much is this, the finger pointing. And I believe when we're talking about change, this is a big evil when you finger point. So when I work with people, I always try to say, let's do this. Point at oneself. What is it what you can do now? And I think that makes the conversations in Davos very interesting. If I'm missing all the pictures, by the way, that will be really annoying, but I will improvise. That's okay. Yesterday I was at an amazing event and we said, how does the world not look in 2025 or 2030, but let's make a jump in 100 years from now. In 2125, the interesting piece about this was that all the groups that were working on the economic system, about health, about how people communicate, how we're going to work with AI, they all had a very positive vision. So I wanted to give this back to you. And then we tried to backcast, so go towards now, the present tense, and said, how does it look like in 50 years from now? 2075 and in 25 years from now. And I want to take you in a little mind travel. And if you don't mind, I would like you to close your eyes for a minute or two. And I want to take you into a time machine and travel together into Davos 2030. How does this look like? Because often the narrative is missing. And now we came back from a travel into the future and said what we have to have achieved by 2030. So take a deep breath in and close your eyes, please. And imagine yourself stepping into a time machine that is driving very fast into January 2030. And as the machine slows down, you find yourself in the crisp mountain air of Davos. It's the year 2030, 20th of January. You're entering the main conference hall and you're stuck by the diversity of attendees. Traditional business suits mingle with colorful traditional attire from various cultures, and there is a noticeable increase in younger faces among the crowd. The theme of the Forum 2030 is enabling an economy that works for the people and the planet. You notice and feel the world has fundamentally shifted. And the keynote speeches highlight the progress made since 2025. 25% of countries now have abolished traditional GDP as their primary measure of progress and have embraced more holistic indicators of well-being. A global 5% wealth redistribution model finances systemic global changes. Free access to clean energy and universal healthcare is now a global reality for 50% of the people. And the universal healthcare has become a reality in 80% of countries. Clean water has become a fundamental human right. A global carbon price is implemented and has accelerated massively the transition away from fossil fuels. You notice how leaders speak differently, with a new kind of wisdom and empathy. Many have embraced inner development principles, fostering a deeper understanding of interconnectedness and long-term thinking. The shift has led to more collaboration and better decision-making. Discussions now revolve around the delicate balance between tech advancements and human capital development. You overhear debates about a productivity leap scenario where innovation and human skills have created a positive circle of growth, contrasting with concerns about an automation overload in some regions. Now I invite you to breathe in again and take in these positive visions that Davos 2030 is and has realized. And with a true feeling of a mix of hope and determination, you can open your eyes again while asking yourself, what can I do in 2025 to contribute to these visions? And I wanted to welcome you back in this space while I'm trying to maneuver this presentation, which is a bit challenging. This doesn't work. What I'm missing in these debates here is a vision. And this was our main takeaway from the travel into the future, which was for me mind-boggling, really, and saying what are the concrete goals we want to have achieved. And then it becomes a true leadership question, you know. There might be conflicting ones, but in true reality, we have had in this exercise to take a decision where we want to be. For me, when I'm walking out there, and that was my challenge today, how to talk to you, it was, I'm missing this vision out there on the street. It's unclear for me what we are all here, many of us with a good intention, want to contribute. What is the bigger picture? What is the text question that is driving us to real change between 2025 and 2030? And I miss the leaders to implement this. It reminds me a bit of the situation I had. I'm a mountain climber. And one day we went up a mountain with friends and we were on the top. And kid you not, we looked into the mountain next to us and said, oh my God, we should be on this other mountain. What we did not is we didn't check the maps correctly. I was today at the Arctic Base Camp up there and it says, power back to science. We need the scientists, you know? The scientists are the people who give us the map. And then on the map, the political leaders, the business leaders, you, the civil society leaders, have to decide where we are going. So it is really with each other that has to make sense. For me, and I've been posting about this quite often, a way to bring this into 2025 is think about an economic model you actually make sense for the people and the planet. This is on the right side. A circular economy, which is not only about materials, it's also about people's flows, financial flows, and making sure we have a regenerative system that works for the people and the planet. Because now my son asks me, why are we not more circular? And the only answer I can give him is because we are at the moment optimizing for greed and profit. Many good things are happening in the circular economy space and regenerative space as well. This is AI is an amazing tool to come up with compositions for new materials, which we need anywhere, in infrastructure development, in construction, for clothes, and we can come up very fast now with new material compositions for regenerative materials that work and make things not polluting. 2, there's truly, for example, in Europe, the right legislation coming. Digital product passports are implemented as of 2026. They are supposed to tell us which materials are where. At the moment, we don't know this. Take a city, I was born in Vienna. In Vienna, the city government doesn't know where is how much aluminium, where is the steel, and all the other materials, including cement. At the moment, we don't know that. By the way, we also don't know this about the global emissions, which are at the moment still estimations. So if a fast and good policymaking is going to tell us where we have the materials, we're going to be able to build business models for the future that work. Big hope, the new generation, biggest handover of wealth from one generation to the next in the history of humankind. The young people are going to develop new ways of consumerism, a new way on how we consume and share things. So many people are now invented. Young people are becoming micro-entrepreneurs, and we're going to hear more about this. And hopefully also this can be social businesses in the future. In Amsterdam, where I operate from, I want to share a very interesting example as well. Startups. We have been in the last years experimenting with circular economy startups. Now, what we learned after 3 years this year is one startup, one big company, can never really deliver the solutions we need. We need systemic solutions. A circular economy is a systemic answer. And so we invited companies and say, you as a startup don't come alone, but bring your MVE. Anybody knows what the MVE stands for? Everybody knows MVP maybe? Minimum viable product. What's the MVE? Bring your minimum viable ecosystem for change. Imagine a person wants to set up a circular catering business. She's not only coming as the caterer, she brings the farmer where she's going to get the food from, the company where she's going to get the packaging from, the financing company that invests in her, and the client. And together in a circular financing system, we can think about how we want to redistribute in this MVE, in this minimum viable ecosystem, the prosperity we are creating. Policymakers are starting to look at how many circular jobs are in countries. We did this study in Belgium. We did this in Netherlands. And a circular job is something that is local, that is really embedded in the local economy. Because we all have had the experience, I'm sure you had it too, supply chain breakdowns during COVID said how difficult our global economy has been. And maybe it's not the best idea that we are procuring everything from Asia. And this is, recently recorded an online academy about this. ESRS reporting. Reporting hated by so many companies, and it's coming. It's going to be, as of this year, the way how you report on what you're doing on economic, social, and environmental stuff. And I think for the government, for the business leaders, it's the opportunity to twist the plot and say, how can we use this to actually turn the company into a regenerative and circular business? Two more things I want to share with you. This is not going to happen. We talked about the third chakra. If we not embrace a little bit, and hopefully increasingly more, a way to turn from ego to eco. And I think I want to give you a personal story, why this is so important. So I was advisor, deputy prime minister from the Liberal Party, and my father was also working in politics, and he was of the right. He is with the right-wing party in Austria. Now we see politicians all over the place, not only in the US, but in many European countries that are taking more extreme views. And I'm not here to judge that at all, but I saw with myself, and I did try not to speak with my father for 10 years because he was part of the political party of the right, and I really didn't like that. And now I can tell you, after this time, I realize more and more it's up to me to integrate and not push people away who are of a different opinion, but try to extend the hand and see why are they behaving in the electoral votes as they are, because many of this is fear-based. And this I find here also on the streets. There is a lot of fear out there that is at the moment in our political system, and the way to tackle this, to my mind, also in Holland, by the way, where I live now, is to accept the people, not look down on them, not think we are in the bubble, we are the environmentalists or the climate, people who work on climate, we are working on systemic change. No, everybody is equal in this. I think it's really, really an internal task that we all have to live up to. And don't accept any more talk. Davos is 90% talk. If I need to take a guess, 10% action. It would be lovely to turn this around and ask in every conversation to have what's the action we are taking together. And here I'm ending with something I sometimes do because it's really uncomfortable also for me. And I ask you to stand up, 30 seconds. Can you all stand up and do something with me? Because all of this can happen. We can turn economic system around. We can turn governance system around. We can be in a circular and regenerative system very fast. If one thing happens, what is this? Action. Yeah? Action is good? Collaboration! And, this doesn't have any meaning, but but be careful these days. This has collaboration. And honestly, I've been speaking to hundreds of ministers, CEOs in my career. It's very easy to talk about collaboration. It's super difficult to do collaboration. Let's be very honest. And most of the time, talking to all the philanthropists and people who are investing, collaboration is normally not financed. But we need money for collaboration. Now, these guys are a strong team, possibly the strongest team in the world. What makes them strong? They have rituals together. And I want to introduce a little bit of this ritual with you to show you maybe one person, including me, wouldn't dance. But if we all dance together, we can actually make incredible action happen. So I will show you a simplified dance of this wonderful team. And we then do it 5 times together. Are you with me? Okay, cool. Let's do this. And I like the word yes. Yes to change. So we do it like this. Yes. Yes. Okay? 5 times. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 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 A bit more convincing. Come on. Yes. 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 2 more times. Yes. 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 Last time. Yes. Yes. Yes.
We're are very, very honored that our keynote speaker has arrived. His Excellency, Professor Muhammad Yunus. I know lots of you are here to listen to his wisdom and to learn as we're here on our journey. So please, a very, very warm welcome to His Excellency, Professor Muhammad Yunus, Honorable Chief Advisor of the Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. It's such an honor that you're here with us today. Please join us on stage. Would you can walk or stand. We're so honored to have you with us.
Wow.
I have a mic for you, and I think everybody's all ears.
Well, good to be here with the whole group of us. Lamia is here, my daughter Dina is here. Okay. Wonderful to be with you, to see you. Hey there, good to see you. Wonderful. Well, we are isolated on the other side. It's very difficult to get out. So finally we're free today. So let's celebrate on that one. Hey Hans, you're here. Wow. Wonderful to see you. Aziz, you're here too. Thank you. So we had a great time in the conference halls and so on. And I see people are very curious to know what's going on in Bangladesh. And I was trying to explain how it happened, why it happened, what is going on right now, and what trajectory that we can create in the coming months. This is a completely different role than I always played coming to Davos. Never thought that I'll be on the other side of the prayer. Now it's a different kind of life. And circumstances pushed me into that direction. I was trying to explain to the student who created this uprising in Bangladesh. They wanted me to come back. At that time, I was away from Bangladesh. I was in Paris with the Paris Olympic. Many of you know that we were involved in designing the Paris Olympic, making a social Olympic. What is social Olympic? So people are always curious to know. So I have to explain. So that's what I was doing, seeing how it... one thing is in figuring out in your mind what you want as a social Olympic and work with the very... and it's another thing to see really what happened, how close it is to the dreams and ideas that you have. It's an amazing experience to have it done and have it done in Paris. Because if you do it in Paris, the whole world notices it right away. And it becomes norm. I'm very happy that it communicated very well with people. To the extent now we are invited to do it in Milan. Milan Winter Olympic is coming. So we have our Yunus Sports Hub. They contacted Yunus Sports Hub to design it and invited me to come and talk to all the officials of Winter Olympic Milan. And they are very enthusiastic. And signed a contract with us with a note. Note is, it has to be better than Paris in social direction, not the sports part of it, social part of it. So that excited us too, that not only they appreciate it, they want to do more of it. While I was doing that, something is happening in Bangladesh. I was watching on TV and the social media, but I had no idea that I had to get involved with it. I get a phone call from Bangladesh. I don't know who he was. He introduced himself as one of the student leaders organizing this. And his request is that you have to come back immediately and take responsibility of the government. And that's not what I was waiting for at all. So I said, no, not me. So I tried to persuade him. And then he passes on to his friend, another student later. I never met them, never know who they are. Have no image in my mind who they are. Second person said the same thing. No way. So after a lot of back and forth, finally persuaded them to think another 24 hours so that they can find another person rather than settle on me. They said, well, we'll do that since you're insisting, but most probably we have the same request. I said, no, you talk about it among yourself. Second call, come, and same result, same request. Finally, I agreed. I said, well, you have given your life, your friends given their lives, and got wounded severely, many of them, thousands of them, not just few. I said, given that circumstances, I cannot say no repeatedly. That will be very unreasonable for me to do that. So I said, okay, I accept. And as soon as I get out, I was in hospital at that moment. I was supposed to get out one day after that. They said, we need you immediately. I said, hospital will not release me immediately. So while this conversation is over, I said, okay, I'll go and see what can be done. Within about a couple of hours, a nurse comes out in my room, knocks and comes in with a bouquet of flowers. She says, congratulations. I said, for what? He said, you are the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. I couldn't believe that I just talked. I said, how did you know? He says, all over the news. See how quickly news comes back to you in a very formal way and so on. And a few hours later, director of the hospital comes with a big entourage. Same message. So after all this over, I said, they're insisting that I have to go back immediately. But you said I cannot go until the evening next day. Can you do something that I can leave in the morning because they're waiting? He said, you are the Prime Minister. What you say is an order for me. So I'll make sure everything is done. Make sure you go. Right on time. And he kept his word. He did that. And as I was leaving, the whole battalion of French army comes in the door to escort me to the airport. See, things change so quickly. Suddenly you feel, what is going on? So that is the beginning. Then serious business, how to address this, how to do that. It's a devastated economy. We are tasked to fix the economy, fix everything. Everything was completely devastated. But the people are very strong in their willpower. We have to go through it and make sure that we get it done. Initially, students were saying, we have pushed the reset button. Everything is gone, finish. We start new. So I said, okay, we'll have to do that. In the process, they came up with the description of what the country will be, New Bangladesh. So our task is to create New Bangladesh, Bangladesh of their dream. All old has to go. Do you have this book with you, the graffiti book? Anybody? I said, no. Whole Dhaka city, those of you who went to Bangladesh or go to Bangladesh, see the roads, you have the walls and the sidewalk, miles and miles around the city. So during this uprising, while they are marching on the street, protesting against the police, protesting against the government, young people painting things on the walls. Every wall is painted. They're not artists, just the common students from the schools and colleges, universities. The whole Dhaka city is filled with those paintings. Expresses the scene that they have created, the words they are uttering, the words they are promoting, the dreams they are going through, all painted in very elaborate details. It's not a single person, there's no planning, nobody's designing, nobody's giving you the key words to do. They figured out their own words, amazing, explosive words. So when I went back, when I saw, I was mesmerized by this. And I asked, is it only one? So, no, it's a whole city, wherever you go. Oh my God, I said, these Dhaka students really did it. No, it's not Dhaka. Every single city, every single town you go to in Bangladesh, we have the same thing. Overnight, they all became artists of highest category, expressing themselves, because they felt that their words are not getting through. So they painted. So I said, why don't we just pick them up, publish a book quickly? So that was the book I was looking for. Where you can see pages of pages, done that. So I'm narrating this, the motion packs of the city and the country, what they want. Really, the young people really spoken their mind, their heart, and to make this country a new country. You got it. This is also part of the painting, one of the paintings. And one, Freedom Brigade, 1971, that's the first time we became independent. The next one is 2024. We regained this year. We lost it, we regained it. This one is very interesting. This is the person, a student from Rangpur. This is not even Dhaka, another city out in the north, small city. The police were barricading and their students are demonstrating. So he comes forward. The police was aiming at the students with a gun. So he comes in front of the gun, stretches his both hands, unarmed. Here I am. If you want to kill me, kill me. But our demonstration will not stop. We'll keep on doing this. And police fired him, right point blank. It's all in television, because television camera is everywhere. And videos from the mobile is everywhere. It's all depicted. It was 16th of July. And then he moved a little bit. It still stand there, raises his hand. Police shot him again, second time. Then he falls. The whole country was outraged, seeing it right in front of your eyes. So he became a symbol for the whole thing. And in this is a graffiti. This is just painted. Background, you see, I didn't understand first, but somebody explained to me. Now I see it. The one painting, he wanted to paint a tiger. See, this is about tiger. And there's a little thing I didn't notice. Somebody pointed it out. It says 36th July. Do you get it? 36th July? There is no 36th July. It is 5th of August. Said, for us, August didn't come. We are still in July. Because on that day, on 36th of July, Hasina left the country and country became free. So for them, it is a liberation day. They wanted to remember themselves. They referred to it as 36th of July. So all these pages are amazing explosive words that comes from their heart. They didn't have money to buy brushes or paints. Just goes to a little neighbor. Can you buy me a brush? Can you buy me some paints? And that's how. This is only few. As I said, it's hundreds of thousands of them. Each one is more powerful than the others. So that kind of captures the whole history of what happened in Bangladesh. The young exploded suddenly. Their message is enough. No more. We want to create a country in our own way. When I say young people, students, some of you may have imaged, we are talking about boys. No. Girls were in the front line as anybody else. Kids, school kids. A 12-year-old kid left a note to his mother that you always stop me going to the march to protest. You want me to stay home. I can't take it anymore. My friends are there in the street. And some of them got killed. I want to be with them. And forgive me. If something happens to me, you are not responsible. I'm responsible. I want to stand for my country. So in the evening, his dead body comes. So this is just one example because he wrote a letter. We came to know about it because mother was reading this letter and she couldn't read it. When the students coming out of the colleges, joining for the march, usual scene is they say goodbye to each other. Because they don't know if both of them will come back or both of them will not come back or one of them will come back. So it's a very intense time. It's not, again, a Dhaka-centered event. Dhaka is the capital. Everywhere in Bangladesh. So when I was talking about being called by the students, this is behind all the things that are happening. And a little bit of it saw in TV and social media. So the whole country has expectation now. Managing their expectation is a big task for us because they want everything to happen right now. If you are a government, if you have the power, why can't you do it? You have to do it now. So it's quite a bit of communication. One thing that happened that gives us a lot of strength, whole country is unified. Not a single dissenting voice. Bangladesh politically is a very chaotic country. All kinds of political words, all philosophies, programs don't agree with each other. To have a situation in Bangladesh where everybody agrees is a unique experience for us. So our task now is to take this strength, translate it, to make their dreams come true. So what we have done, we have created a series of reform commissions because everything has to be redone, reworked. our constitution has to be done again, because young people say, this is no constitution. We are not part of it. So that's a big task. And once you touch the constitution, all kinds of opinion comes up. How do you manage that? So commission is to go and see where you have the common ideas or what you think is should be done, the right thing to do. Election commission, judiciary commission. Our judiciary is a mess. It became a tool in the hands of the previous government to do anything they want. They hanged people in the name of justice with no evidence, no reason. Hanged people. Millions of people were in jail. I was one of them who is about to go to jail. Many of you remember that. Luckily, they didn't last longer, because they did, probably I'll be one of them. For no reason. Just because they didn't like him. Or they don't agree with the views that they are proposing. So we want to have, again, a new judicial system which delivers justice. Because those judges who are sitting there, they are not really judges. They're just tools in the hands of the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister. So that's the task. Now time has come. All the reports are coming. We're in the process of receiving all these reports. And once the reports are here, so we have a last commission, which is we call Consensus Building Commission. We have all kinds of opinions. So you have to go around, talk to all the political parties, civil society organization, everybody. Where do we agree? Do you agree on this? Do you agree on this? So we have a list of items where everybody agrees or a consensus exists. Then this is to happen in the next couple of months. Once it's done, we have a document where these things can be done, item by item on each commission. Then I'll put them all together and ask all the political parties, civil society, to sign this document that you agree, because you said you agree. This will become a historical document for us, for the nation. And it will be called July Charter, because things happen in July, so this will be the July Charter for the country. And this will be implemented in a procedure laid down in our recommendations in this document. And that will be beginning of the new Bangladesh. The last point I want to make, it's a tremendous amount of support globally. Amazing support. I have not seen any country kind of walking away without paying attention to Bangladesh. We came to take the responsibility on 8th of August. And September was the United Nations General Assembly session. So as a government, we went to General Assembly session, where all countries meet. Amazing support from every single country that you meet on the sessions, on everything. Every multinational organizations, World Bank, IMF, European Investment Bank, you name it, all have tremendous amount of support. While I'm here, I met the German Chancellor. He wanted to talk to me. He came with his colleagues. The message is loud and clear. We're with you. Tell us what you need. And in this part of the moment, I didn't know what to say. He said, what you need? I said, best way probably would be you designate somebody in your close quarter, who can communicate with you right away. Make him a special envoy for Bangladesh. So he or she will be one who will connect us with you and tell you what we need, how we need, and so on and so forth. This is done, will be done. And everything else discussed, and tremendous amount of support. So I give this example because he was so forthcoming. And same thing happened in the United Nations when Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Union, she said the same thing. Tell us what you need. Most of the European Union ambassadors are located in Delhi, who looks after Bangladesh. So Bangladesh doesn't have European Union ambassador. Only 8 countries have ambassadors located in Bangladesh. The rest is in India. Oh, thank you. So first thing they did, they designated the ambassador of European Union in Bangladesh as a coordinator. He brought all the ambassadors to Bangladesh at the same day, same time, so that collectively they can meet with us and discuss country by country and the whole, and the whole group of nations of the European Union. Again, very positive, very enthusiastic. So that gives us a lot of strength to do. So we should be making use of the support while it's still there. These kind of support don't last long when things go wrong. So we want to make sure that while they still have very warm feeling for us, we can get things done. Very, very difficult task, but we need global support for that. And we are inviting investors, business people to come in a big way to do business with Bangladesh so that our economy kind of start moving up. So that's where we are. And I was invited to come to Davos. We were debating whether to go or not to go because presence in Dhaka is important. At the same time, debate is presence in Davos is also important. So we kept it pending for until the last minute. And finally said, let's go. That's how we're here. So it's wonderful to see you all and gives us a lot of strength. Seeing your support, your good wishes for us to see the task given to us is tough, but the support is unique. With that support, we hope we can succeed in delivering what people are expecting from us. And thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please have a seat. Yes, thank you. Thank you for this wonderful explanation of how you've experienced this radical transition. I think it's such an honor to hear this firsthand account. If all of you forgive me, I would really like to have this opportunity to address one question to you after this amazing story. Before I invite the other panel members on stage with us, I understand and hear from you how powerful a grassroots movement can be, and how important and close to your heart it is to have this kind of social initiatives that are supported by the people. as we are gathered here today to discuss circularity and the move towards a more circular economy, how have you experienced this? What has it been, 8 months? And how do you see what is happening in Bangladesh? Thank you. Exactly. Well, we're still in July, maybe. With all the initiatives that you have seen happen in the country, what are the most vital takeaways if we want to reach collectively this kind of circular society that we all aspire to reach? Can you share your super valuable insights on that?
One, you can say right away, people are ready to accept any suggestion which makes sense to them. This is a clean slate. We are not obliged to curtail anything because something happened in the past. So we are free from the past. That's amazing liberation. You can do anything that you want to do, and you build your society, build your nation according to your dream. So this is a kind of unique opportunity. That's what we remind ourselves again and again, not to miss this opportunity. Because this opportunity will not last forever and ever. So while it is hot, while it is open, let's take advantage, make sure that change can be introduced and get it done. Tomorrow, that same change may not be acceptable.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I would really like to invite Christina Jaeger on stage with us. We have a full panel of dreamers with you to be joining us for conversation. So Christina, if you can already join us. We have briefly heard from Christina earlier. Christina has been working closely with His Excellency as the Yunus Environmental Hub is the dream baby, I think, from both of you, and is very close to both of your hearts. You're very passionate about that. So it's wonderful to have both of you on stage. I would like to take the opportunity to ask Roman Wijs on stage for talking about very spirited people that are following their dream. Roman has founded a company bridging sustainability, fashion, and made-to-measure footwear. So we're very honored that you're with us. Then we will have, you're welcome. Then we have Madhvi, so stressful today. Sorry, Madhvi Dalal on stage with us. Please have a seat as well. Madhvi, as I'm sure both of you are very well acquainted already, she has a company in Kenya. Roman is in Zurich. We have Kenya and Zurich with us on stage. So that's such a wonderful polarity in initiatives. Madhvi has founded Matpad, which is a company that is trying to educate and to bring awareness and is making circular female hygiene products and is trying to change the conversation into making sure that we talk about period dignity, which is a very, very hot topic all around the world. And then last but not least, Harold Friedel, here, please join us as well. You have already elaborately heard from Harold. So with this, maybe after this very touching moment, and so honored to have all of you on stage, I think we have a very diverse panel with us, talking about the macro and the micro, about the grassroots and about the global perspectives. Christina, as the co-founder, managing director, would you like to say a few words about the most core principle of the Yunus Environmental Hub and your mission today, and also one of the reasons that you decided to co-host today for us?
Sure. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, so at Yunus Environment Hub, we are supporting social business entrepreneurs that are working in the environmental sector. And as I explained initially, our vision is to create a world of 3 zeros. 0 poverty, 0 unemployment, and 0 net carbon emissions. And we offer a range of innovation, incubator, accelerator programs where we help people that have an idea, that have a solution to an environmental issue, on helping them growing, building that venture. And we have what distinguishes us maybe from other circular economy accelerators is that we are not only looking at the environmental and the economic aspect, but that the societal impact, the social dimension, plays an integral role. So we are looking at it from both of those perspectives. And Madhvi is actually one of our alumni from our Circular Rise Accelerator, and she's an amazing example on how this can look like, where she is combining sort of seeing a problem in society that she wanted to address by creating a social business and making it circular, so that we are transitioning away from this linear system that we talked earlier today that is depleting resources, that is creating a lot of waste, by creating a circular product that exactly prevents that prevents waste, that prevents CO2 emissions, and that leaves no one behind. And I think this is crucially important, because if we only looking on shifting from a linear to a circular economy from an economic or environmental perspective, we might not create only good things. But if we're only looking this from a profit maximizing perspective, we will just shift problems from one place to the other. Plus, it has seen that the shift to a circular economy can actually only work if we are including behavior change and social innovation. It has proven that we need social innovation and not only technological innovation, because we need to change our behaviors on how we are consuming, moving away from owning products to using services, by using new models around reuse and refill instead of buying something that ends up at waste afterwards. So it is really crucial sort of that we acquire this systemic shift in moving to a circular economy that is socially inclusive, that leaves no one behind. And social business entrepreneurs are a primary example on how this can be done. And I let Madhvi, of course, share her amazing story and tell you more about how this looks sort of in practice. But this is what Yunus Environment Hub is about, like supporting and implementing concrete solutions on how we can achieve a world of 3.0. And we are opening this up. It's not only that we work with social business entrepreneurs, we invite anyone to join. So we have a program where we are building circular value chains. So we are inviting companies and the public sector to buy the products from social businesses. Yeah? So we are solving several challenges at the same time. We are growing the impact of the social business entrepreneurs because they are growing their business in that way. And we are helping the transition to a circular economy and helping other stakeholders to have a role in this entire ecosystem.
Thank you. Well, Madhvi, as a founder and an entrepreneur, can you maybe share with the audience how you see your work supporting circular economy and how the challenges that you're facing into realizing this world that we all are striving to of triple zeros?
Thank you. First of all, I'm very honored to share the stage. It's been a dream, so I'm really grateful to be here. And yes, circular economy, it's almost like that one ex who just keeps coming back, except this time you're happy to see him or her back because they have a new value and they have a good purpose. So for us at PadMad, we work on different things, thanks to Yunus Environment Hub, who have carved the way for us. We work mainly, I wouldn't say mainly, but our biggest gig is education. So not only dealing with behavioral change, but to really deal with the grassroots, thinking about where this change is going to come in. And also, for us in Kenya particularly, that's where we're coming from, that's where social enterprise is. 1 million girls miss school every year because of lack of period products. In addition to that, if you can just think about yourself as a woman or somebody female close to you who has to actually go through transactional sex just because they cannot afford pads. So this is one of the reasons why we come into the grassroots, trying to educate and to really help this system grow through with almost a whole shift in the whole community, not just for girls, not just for women. This is a whole community thing. In addition to that, we have the circular program on the product itself, making sure it's biodegradable, making sure it's natural. In fact, since working with the Yunus, we have a full vertical. We've gathered with partners who give the cotton seed to farmers in Kenya who are now growing it. So by the time the product is harvested to our product is only 6 weeks. That in itself is creating employment. That in itself is, our products, since they're biodegradable, till now we have given out or we have beneficiaries 800,000 pads, which really has prevented single-use plastic pads, the disposable pads, which are 90% plastic. They've prevented 77 million going to the landfill just of Kenya, just from our social enterprise. And we're not that old. We're not even 7 years old yet. And then the final thing is we work with making sure that we're really trying to, I know empowerment is a bit of an overused word, but really trying to employ people in Kenya who would generally not be able to get a regular job. For example, ex-incarcerated women who would then be trained with to get financially stable, to get reskilled, things like that. So those are our three things that we work with. I mean, I keep saying circularity is really not a planet issue. It's a people and planet issue. It's a real grassroots level. If we're here in Davos talking about numbers and economy, in itself, period products, the CAGR in 2021 was 34.7. By 2031, they expect it to be 51 point something, which means really, if we are going to be able to put waste to worth, we are putting our words where our money really is. So circular economy has this mindset. You're asking what are the challenges. The mindset of businesses that really is circular economy or social business, is it really going to make us the profit that we're looking for in the short term or in the long term? And from our personal perspective, yes, and it's hugely satisfactory. I think it's a great place to be in, especially if you're solving social and environmental issues. And I think the last thing I wanted to share was, if we're in this space all together, if I'm here and I'm saying that let's collaborate, let's do this together, like you were saying earlier, I think that is possibly the most powerful way to do it. And I know Professor Yunus has said, the education system, that's where we need to begin. So really, it's within our own resources, in our own homes, to start thinking about the circularity. And then I think the challenges will solve themselves.
Thank you. It was so lovely. I was standing from the sideline and the only thing I see happening is Roman going, yes, exactly. Small entrepreneurs all over the world, I think, are battling the same questions of accessibility, of innovation, of figuring out how to do things that are scalable, but that are sustainable and circular. Roman, can you share where you are today with the foundation of the company and with the growing of it so far? Because we've known each other from the beginning.
Yes. This is working?
Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, very happy to. So maybe to give you a little bit of background what we're doing, we set up a concept to produce footwear in a more tailored way. And we have looked very strongly into materials. So our focus is mainly on the ecological circularity, whereas the social part plays a big role in how we're producing. And basically right now, the biggest challenges are, first of all, to have acceptance from consumers that products which are designed in a circular way, they might be in certain features a bit different. And this is a change we're trying to push forward. And secondly, as you can imagine, footwear is something where you need to have strong durability. So it's much more difficult. If you take, for example, a more simple example like garments, which in the end, it's not as simple as it sounds, but it's simpler to for example, use a monomaterial, for example, biocotton. This part, making footwear circular, is much more difficult. And we're at the moment still in this process of finding ways to make footwear more sustainable and more circular. and we're still looking for solutions. And the approach for us has always been collaborating with institutions from all over Switzerland and Europe, public institutions and also private institutions, fostering cross-sectoral collaboration. So to give you an example, we have developed a 3D printable footbed together with the School of Applied Sciences in Zurich. And we have been one of the first to actually 3D print a almost industrially composable polymer.
Well, I think that's wonderful to hear in terms of that every circular, sustainable product will have its own challenges. For you, it's the fact that you have so many different components. I think for you, it's incredible that you managed to do a vertical integrated system, because I work in fashion already for a really long time, and it is so rare to see that today. So I think big round of applause just for trying. But what I really would like to do is open the questions to the audience. You need a mic if you want to ask a question, but please, I'm sure it's such an honor that we have His Excellency with us and the rest of our very esteemed panel, all of you. There must be questions that are burning. So if anybody... Yes, I have one all the way in the back. Wait.
Hi there. My name is Olivia, and I work with a company that is related to a circular economy. So thank you all, first off, for the work that you do, because it's incredibly inspiring. My question for you all is, from a policy perspective, what sorts of policy interventions do you think are most critical in facilitating the adoption of circular economy around the world?
Who wants to take the mic?
We have to abolish that waste is accepted, you know? It's so crazy that any industry you look at, it's possible to create 90% of waste. It's insane. So if we would be able to create markets for secondary materials, many of these issues would be very fastly possible. The Swedes, for example, did that. They reduced the VAT for secondary materials and made it so more interesting for companies to use it. I think that would be really...
And maybe to add on what's currently happening, in the European Union, we have a new law, the right to repair, that now needs to be implemented in the different countries, that would incentivize repairing products over buying them new and making the producers sort of forcing them to build the products in the first place in a way that they actually can be repaired, because that is often a challenge right now, that even if you wanted to repair a product, you actually cannot do it because it's designed the way so that you need to throw it away and buy a new one. And there has been some other pilots in France and Austria and some states of Germany as well, where governments are incentivizing by providing vouchers that you can then use and repair these products. And they have been extremely successful. So we are seeing it that people love the idea, they understand the idea, and it's something that needs to be broadened and made more mainstream. And also, of course, we need the offerers who are actually offering repair services. And there are so many ways on how you can do that beyond that, by, for example, providing, reducing the VAT on circular services, such as repair or reuse, and many other things. And I think in the next 12 to 24 months, I think we're going to see some of those changes actually taking effect.
Can I add to that?
Please.
I think a good one for us would be to actually make it mandatory for producers of disposable products, of disposable pads and tampons, to write the contents. Because in our context in Kenya, whenever I ask the girls, you know, what do you think is a disposable pad made of? And they 90% think it's made of cotton. And it's made of 90% plastic. So as soon as the consumer understands what they're buying, there will already be a mind shift. In fact, just in December 2024, I don't know why it took so long for that report to come out, but tampons had said they have heavy metals, including lead. And that's what women and girls have been using for so far. So I think that should be mandatory.
Transparency always helps. So true. Yes, you have the mic, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful talks. I just wanted to ask, in addition to this material circularity in this climate hub, this energy is one of the issues, and the renewable energy transition may be a challenge. And in the case of Bangladesh, I understand that there are a number of fossil fuel-based power plant construction plants still there. And I'm just wondering, Professor Yunus, if you have any thinking about how you'd like to facilitate transitions in that respect as well. Thank you.
There is a general opposition to fossil fuel-based power stations. The government justified them because the urgency of having power is so much, there's no other alternative. So went ahead. But that doesn't mean that this becomes a Bangladesh permanent policy. We feel lucky that we have a very strong source of renewable energy, green energy, Himalaya. The endless possibility of producing hydropower in Nepal. So we're discussing with Nepal and Bhutan, both have the same facility. How they are very eager to build those plants and supply this power to Bangladesh. And we are eager to get that power, but we need some international understanding in between to transport this power to Bangladesh. So we see that as a possibility, and it's not a remote one, very concrete one, and urgent one. It could be done, provided we have an environment of collaboration. And we see this is a possibility not only for Bangladesh, it's also for all this region that we have, Nepal, Bhutan, Eastern India, and Bangladesh. And if enough supply is possible, there's tremendous supply. We can also include Myanmar into it, provided the relationship improves between Myanmar and the rest of the region. So we are eyeing that, and we're discussing this issue. It's not a question of trying it out or a technological problem. It's just an understanding. That's about it. So we hope we can get to that understanding fast. Thank you.
I know that the audience will have many more questions. I know, but it was such an honor that you were with us, and I know that you have a very strict schedule that you need to adhere to. So I think a big round of applause for your time and your passion and all the...
It's my privilege to meet you, so I should be thanking you rather than the other way around. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you.
And thank you, Christina, for organizing this. Thanks a lot.
Please don't leave. If you have questions, the rest of our esteemed panel will be very happy, but thank you so much. Christina, you will... Hmm? Yeah. Formalities. Congratulations.
Hello.
Nobody knows.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
We were glad we could do this. It's like free IG days.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wish you good chance.
Thank you.
If those of you, please stay. I know that we still have a full program of nice things ahead, and I know that there were still questions in the audience, so we have time and we have space to address those before we continue, before we move on to the next topic of the day. I know that the mic is circulating somewhere. There's the mic. Yes. I don't know. The questions, are they still present in the audience? Yes, they are. There we go. Annabelle?
Hi, thank you. That was honestly brilliant. My name's Cora. I'm from a team that kicked off here in Davos this year, the Nature and Climate Impact Team. So hopefully relatively obvious what we do. One of our focus is consumer packaged goods, and obviously circularity is hugely important. But my question is around narrative. So especially to the founders, how do you sell this? How do you talk about this in an effective way? Thank you.
Well, I think I best address this with an example. We're by the way hosting an exhibition later after these panels with several circular solutions we know, and I think there is one startup which shows this really well, and I think the best way to show circular solutions is make it really tangible. And the startup I'm speaking about is called Microbes. They're creating packaging material replacing plastics with mycelium. And I think it's for me as a founder of a footwear company is a bit more challenging. I can also show you later examples. But the best way to motivate and to engage with customers is making circularity tangible to them, in my view.
Yeah, for us, it's mainly the information we get from the surveys, the metrics we have, and how we use those for mainly our business is B2B mainly, not so much B2C. Because of the affordability. So when we are going to the businesses or the corporates or the NGOs, we want to show them our surveys, we want to show them our data collected, and we want to show them how it's working. And then eventually it finds its own momentum of acceptance. And, you know, there's many benefits, the health and the economy, etc. But so long as you can chart it in a tangible way for people to see and to feel, and this is how it's accepted, I think that is how we transport our business through.
And maybe to add on what you said before, the transparency of the supply chain. We have also other interesting examples later who actually go down to disclosing the material of every single component, for example, in their clothes or in their products. And I think that's also a very important part of it.
Can I add something? I've spoken to hundreds of investors in the last maybe 10 years. I want to give just also a thought. You know, maybe you can turn it around and say it's an opportunity for you to do actually something useful. Because, you know, when there's this famous book about the dying, and sometimes bring it up, that says everybody, these people who are dying, and it's written by a nurse, everybody regrets at the end of its lifetime not to have done more for the community. Nobody has ever regretted spending more time in the office or making more money. I just want to bring this also to your attention, because in the end of the day, it's a chance for you to have a happy life. I sometimes am really, really annoyed by us trying to put circular entrepreneurs, which is like one of the most complicated things you can do, into a linear business logic. It doesn't work. Many of these models don't have business models yet. And I know many need investments. I just want to add this also. It's a chance for you to do something, an invitation for you to build the new narrative and the new world you want to be part of.
I think that's such a true remark, because very often you're faced with questions about your transparency and you're picked on for every little ingredient you use, whereas other brands who are not disclosing anything don't get any questions. So from the moment that you stick out of the field, you catch a lot of wind. So it's very true. We might need to reconsider and think about the whole narrative of how our economy is turning.
Sorry, can I just add to that? I think for anyone really, I didn't plan to do this. I just landed into it. But if you have a solution which benefits the people, which protects the planet, you can make the profit. For us, it's as simple as that.
We have another question.
Yes, hi. I'm Livia. Thank you so much for all your inspirations. I feel that when you talk eye to eye in person with someone, many people already get it. But when I'm faced convincing larger companies that they need to change, then I am, I get confronted with so many like large corporate challenges and just their ways of operating that I don't really get through. So what's your advice of how to actually convince larger, really influential large corporations to get ready for the change and actually start being active?
I think you need to get them through a personal and emotional component, to be honest. Because if they're only talking from their corporate perspective, from their corporate lenses, you're not going to reach them. But in the end, like, who are corporates? Like, who are big companies? Like, there are people like you and me working in these companies. And every one of us has an empathetic side inside of us. So it's like really trying to make it personal, I think. And then sometimes, if you want to change a big company, it literally also depends, like, having the right people in the right positions, you know? If you have someone who is open towards the topic that sort of has the power in changing things, you can move things, even though it may take a while, because also that person needs to convince the other people in the company. But I think that shouldn't sort of stop us from working towards the solutions. So it's really also seeing what we can do, each of us in our own capacity, in showing inspiration by living examples. And also, like this morning, we were talking about the topic of social procurement, how, you know, corporates can purchase from social businesses. And when you're talking to the procurement responsible people in big companies, and you have someone who only looks at, I need the product on time, in quality, at the lowest cost, yeah, he will not be interested sort of in all of your stories. So you really need to transfer on and make sure he understands what is the additional benefit that he gets when he purchases from you versus from a non-sustainable, a non-social supplier. So really highlighting what is that additional benefit the company would get from it.
I can add to that. I'm not sure about corporates, but I think harder than that would be working with governments. So I have an example, working with the Kenyan government, particularly hard. You know, I don't have the right skin, the right gender, etc. I was warned many times not to go for it. But I think the key here is to be firm but not aggressive, and be very patient, because that will really bring you some few steps forward. But then the thing which shifted really was the buy-in from them. If you tell them, like Christina said, if you tell them this is why it is actually a good thing, and it is, you're part of that change, or you're part, they buy into that change. And I think that's the mindset which takes some patience.
I want to add one experience. When I was Circular Economy Ambassador in Austria, so I was asked to bridge this gap between public and private. You know, all the big companies also say, even in IKEA, you know, the big ones, we can't do it alone. That's very clear. Also, they can't effectuate system change alone. So the interesting thing is, and they get a lot of pressure from the young people that say, we don't want to work for companies that are not purposeful, one, and regulation is changing, hopefully faster. So in that, it's again an opportunity for them, but you have to orchestrate it in a quasi non-competitive way. Because at some point we had 10 of the very big clothing companies in one room. If you take them separate, nobody will share any of their insights. When you put them together, it was quite difficult, they all have the same problem. And it's only solvable on a systemic level. So I have a lot of hope for that.
We have one more question. Yeah. Here in the front.
Yeah, I just have one quick question, which is really a follow-up to the one about leverage and about all the corporations that actually would have a lot of leverage. So maybe it's also more of a statement whether it wouldn't pay off really to have to collaborate on a really strategy as to how to connect to them. And so the question could be, do you have a best case about how that strategy would look in hygiene products? It's quite clear that there are some really big players. And the question, so this would be a super case to say, well, we prove to you what happens bottom up, and now you can collaborate with us in a larger scale. And it seems to me to be today, in the time of optimistic urgency, really strange that they're not immediately picking it up. So it would be for both of you. Maybe Herr Friedl, why are they not picking up? And for you as well. Thank you.
I think I'm burning to answer that by another question. Why are we in 2025 and still talking about period poverty? You know, people in Davos have been speaking about this for the last 30 years. Why are we still here? When jets have gone up to Mars and now we're talking about AI, how have we not solved this problem? So in my opinion, I really do think, you know, for example, our solution is just particular to us. It doesn't mean that it's, you know, we may have the structure and the framework which is adaptable, but I just think that if $5 can change this whole perspective, can shift it, when $1 a day is what we need for food, $5 for one child to fix it. How are we still not doing it? What are we still talking about? How are we not moving? And I think from my perspective here is, you know, if we were to say, let's scale PadMat, it wouldn't be to scale the product. It would be to scale the idea, the whole ecosystem, so that other people doing similar things in their little areas can adapt to it.
We shall have one last question.
Hi, sorry, perhaps if this is the last question might sound negative. I don't want it to sound negative, but I'm completely new to this. And now I feel I have to, because something's not working. Because you say you've been talking about it for 7 years now, and the circularity of the global economy has receded. So I do sympathize with what you said, Christina, about appealing to people's hearts effectively and bringing them on a journey of being part of change. And I believe that many people, you know, in their hearts will buy into this. But ultimately, and this is the part where I don't want to sound negative, especially corporates, they don't only have themselves to care about, but they function within a certain structure and within a certain system. So they primarily concerned with shareholder value, whether we like it or not. So even if they personally buy into something, and I'm sure they, you know, many of them, or most of them would be fundamentally decent people, and they probably recycle, and they probably would prefer to repair rather than buy a new product, etc., etc. But I think the key thing, and it goes back to the question that came up earlier about communication, ultimately you have to appeal to the profitability of the solutions that you're talking about. And if we're only going to be appealing to their heart but not to their heads, I don't think this is going to take off. And maybe that's the reason why it hasn't been taken off. And maybe another thing, also coming back to communication, slightly connected to it. I think when we go too strongly on the heart part of it, and we're talking about unlocking chakras and sort of singing together, with all due respect, Harold, as well, to what we were practicing earlier. To many people, that will just look weird. And I don't think that's ultimately going to be helpful. And as much as I think this is just a perfect concept for how the economy should work, but trying to sell it through overly emotional and spiritual means, in my personal opinion, it isn't probably working. For me, it isn't. But I'm buying into this because I like the idea of it, of working for people and planet. And there'll be many other people who would just like to see, I think, more rational arguments, of which there are plenty, than many of the spiritual or the sort of emotional ones. Sorry, thanks.
Just and on a very positive note, it's about finding the right narrative for everyone so that everyone feels part of it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I agree with you. And I think there is, here at the World Economic Forum, there is a lot of rational reports. Like, they're publishing each year a report that lists the 10 major risks to the economy, to business. And I think 5 out of 10 are related to climate and resource depletion. So for me, the question is, why is this not being taken seriously then? Because it's not an emotional port or an emotional speech. It's like it's based on data and facts. I think also when we are looking at, and you're also right, that the circularity development has not been making the progress as we would like to see. We also need to understand why is that the case. We have rapid population growth in a lot of economies and on the African, on the Asian continent, who are developing very fast. And this development comes, this economic development also comes with waste creation. And we are seeing the prognosis that, especially on plastic production, this is going to quadruple in the next years. So again, it's also a question on justice, right? Like only because developed countries were enjoying economic growth and we are now at a stage where we say like, oh, we have reached such a level of wealth and now we can afford to discuss about circularity. What about those countries who didn't have that growth and prosperity yet? So in the end, it's about, again, creating a world for everyone in which nobody is left behind. And it's up to all of us to imagine the world that we want to have, the society we want to live in. We need to imagine it, and then we can make it happen and work towards it. But this is what maybe is missing right now.
I want to give you a short answer from my side. You know, it's so easy to criticize, and I'm super bored of this. This is just one feedback, because most people do that. But I don't take it as a criticism either. And I wanted to say, I try to make this a personal story, not because I think it's funny, but I think it's the only way how to communicate to people. And it's your decision every day what you're doing. And most people are on a mega ego trip. That's it. If you say today, I'm going to take care more of her and her than of me, I think you will have a more happy life, but you will have economic consequences. So sure, the economic system has to be totally revamped. And I think it's a chance for everybody to, again, come on this train. Because I did this meditation, nobody really thinks about 2030, what they want to have achieved here. There are huge things to achieve. We can only do this collaboratively, but I have seen very few people that actually don't only speak, but listen and try to collaborate. That's my experience. And if you have better ways, please talk to me afterwards how to communicate that. I would love to know that.
I think that is an excellent question for all of you. What do we do? Can you have one call to action? What do we do to get to the circular economy? What can we do today to reach a better tomorrow? Anybody?
Yeah, so I mean, this is not a scientific view. Probably quite a subjective view, as I focused lots on plastics, and I would say one of the biggest levers for our circular economy in the future is actually reducing one-time use plastics to a minimum. Of course, excluding, for example, industries like healthcare, where this is absolutely necessary. But this is one of the largest challenges of our society in the future, and there's great initiatives out there. Part of them we'll also show in the exhibition later, which make me think quite positive about this. And I really hope we're gonna get away from that.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, it really starts with the individual, with each of us, and it's not about being perfect from today. It's like pick one thing and make it a habit, and then in the next month or in half a year you can pick another thing. And like the examples that Roman just gave, I think is really good. It's like, don't overcomplicate it. In the end, like we have the 7 R's in the circular economy, and the number 1 is reviews. I think we need to consume less. And it might be hard, but that might be a very easy start for everyone for us to get started.
For me, it's about dignity. So my real call to action is that I don't want to be here 5 years from today or 10 years from today. I really do believe this generation can eradicate what we're trying to solve. And also for us as consumers, girls, women, menstruators, to really make that choice, because it's very easy. One generation ago, they were actually all reusables. It's just this consumerism has overtaken, and to make that choice. And there are healthier options. You know, pads don't have to contain dioxin, which is a real toxin. They don't have to contain lead. Make the choice.
If you're not comfortable having microplastic in your blood, in your brain, and in your reproductive organs, maybe be part of an economy that tries to eliminate pollution and takes care of everybody for prosperity for all.
Well, thank you. And we have some positive points here of what we can do. Thank you so much, all of you. The program will continue because our Roman and Christina are sitting on a beautiful couch and we haven't heard yet where it came from. So Harold, Matvey, Christina, Roman, thank you so much for being with us. I think it was our pleasure to listen to all of you. Can I have Brian and Francois on the stage, please, with us? Thank you. So we have Francois Gerber and Björn Ishi, both here to talk circular business and lifestyle. Can I have a round of applause? Yes, choose any of the mics.
I'll take the one from Professor Yunus. So I'll be inspired, and thanks for the remaining people in the room. I saw many people leaving, so I don't know how much circular they would like to be. We heard very much about circularity, ecosystem, about negative things happening in the world, unfortunately. And we talked about actions and positive actions, but the biggest question is, how do we make actually things happen and fast? Because we've talked enough, and this is what you can see here in the middle. It's a Bernese saying, lieferen, niet lafferen. It's about, well, basically do more and speak less. So we are very happy today with Björn and Christian Heuselmann. You actually saw him on the picture before. He was not on the scene, but he's actually also part of this circular tour with us. We are actually happy to spread really some good news today. So today it's about spreading good news about the Circular World Tour 2025 and also about the Circular Tour de Suisse, which we will resume in a very brief presentation today. The ultimate objective of these initiatives is about actually making circular business a lifestyle so that the people really want to join. So my name is Francois. I'm heading the Circular Economy Switzerland ecosystem. It's basically an umbrella platform in Switzerland who is promoting and really pushing forward the best practices around circular economy. So it's really about making the transition happening in a fast-forward way. And we're acting not only in Switzerland, but also very, very closely working with international organization as well. So today, it's really a joy to actually kick off the launch. You will see something also very funny that is supposed to come with us on tour. We're going to talk about a truly ecosystem, a circular ecosystem that is built on these three pillars. You can see the Circular World Tour 2025, which will run 20 workshops in 20 cities worldwide this year. We will have a Circular Tour de Suisse actually running through 50 plus stage stops in 25 and 26 in Switzerland. And Björn will quickly give you a highlight on that one. And in the end, this is where actually things will come together. Actually, all the key actors, the key drivers, the key doers of these tours, the World Tour and the Tour de Suisse will come together end of next year for a Circular Economy Summit in Bern, so the capital city of Switzerland. So if you want to be part of this tour, already take some notes, save the date for next year, and then we might join out there. So what is the Circular World Tour? So basically there is a lot happening in circular business, in circular economies, and that's the first good news. So we're always talking about, okay, there is a few startups here, there is a few startups there, they all need money, but they're struggling actually to make things happen. We are working on a daily business with SMEs, mostly in Switzerland. As you might know, 99% of the economical landscape in Switzerland is built by SMEs. So we're talking about approximately more than 600,000 small enterprises who are actually doing business. And now a lot is happening in terms of circular economy. We've also heard today, I was in a previous talk with the Swiss Indian Innovation Hub, and they also mentioned the fact that Switzerland is very interesting because there is a high intensity in innovation in Switzerland. There is a lot of research being done, and actually there is a lot of really intelligent mind and collective intelligence here in Switzerland. The only thing is, in Switzerland, there is no business. So what to do with all these really crucial and key inventions that are popping up for basically happening this transition to come over? We need to connect with the world, and this is where we actually want to come in. So there are two ways of doing so. The first one is about going and popping up in different countries. There are some summits, there are some events already organized, and we will bring some key Swiss actors that are actually already in those respective countries to connect with like-minded people, doers, entrepreneurs, so really people that are hands-on, no talking, no political discussions. It's really about, okay, I'm a business entrepreneur and I know exactly what I'm doing, and I would like to share with you my knowledge, and vice versa. There is someone who knows how to do business in this country, and I will tell you how to do. And so we enter in a discussion and in a collaboration. And this is also what Harald mentioned. There needs to be more collaboration. And this is how it goes, without the first intention of only doing business. It first starts, hey, let's learn from each other because there is a lot to do. And in the end, if we go faster, the business will come. And this is one of the first topics. We will go through 20 cities in the world in 2025. So we're about now to closing all the deals. And actually, everyone is very excited about making it happen, even the Swiss embassies in those respective countries. By the way, the first one will be in April in Montreal with the Canadian Summit, where we will bring these Swiss actors together with the Canadian actors. And the second way is another way. It's basically bringing delegations together. And this is one concrete example, which will happen very soon. So we're very glad to invite actually B2B people from Slovenia to Zurich in May. And they will go and visit some different companies in Switzerland, which are actually crucial for them and very interesting for them. Did you know that Slovenia actually, or for Slovenia, Switzerland is the most important trade partner in Europe? And actually, they do big business with Switzerland, and vice versa. Slovenia is one of the most important trade partners as well for Switzerland, and basically mostly due to life science and chemical pharmaceutical, with Novartis producing also some medicals over there. So we will send out a delegation in September 2025 with again between 10-15 people to visit their facilities, and there is a summit happening in Porto Roche in September, and this is these people will really exchange. So it's not about political discussions, and it's not about, hey, we present ourselves in the media. It's really, no, we really want to make things happen. By the way, you notice that very few entrepreneurs come in such discussion and such panels because they don't have time. They need to do business, and this is where we can really support them. And end of November, as I said, this is where actually all these actors will come together, and they will share their outputs. They will share really the nice stories, and this is what we really then want to promote, basically to share the best practices. We will soon also unveil a site where you will also be able to see those best practices, because there are people behind, and we also want to thank and highlight the people who are actually pioneering and doing this transition already now. And I can tell you there is a lot of good stories to tell. The only thing is you need to know where they are, and that's one of our businesses, so that basically we provide this action. And in the end, it's about actually making circular business a lifestyle, so that all the others will follow at some point, and in the end, there is no way back. So basically, it's about, hey, the future is circular.
Thank you very much, François. Yeah, and the next time, or me, thank you very much, Nicole Keller, for being us here. This is very great. Thank you, GreenUp team, for the great organization of our products. Over me, I'm an industrial designer of the Switzerland. I'm self-employed, and I working over 15 years for many brands in the world. And after my work, I work many with raw materials. And I think, okay, this is a little bit a problem. I'm connecting this, and I open Upcycling by Design. With Upcycling by Design, we go a new way. We want to bring waste materials in high-end products, high-end design products. And that was the case. That case was very cool. He works very good. And after this case, I opening the startup with my friend Florian Baumgartner, the Mimio. The concept, the case is we make high-end office material over waste. We bring the waste in the new products, and we bringing in the circular economy. That's the first time we make this, and over this emotion, François say this, over this emotion, we want this bringing to the people out there. We show it. We want to take, hey, look, it's possible. Circular economy, it's possible. It's also economic, and we want this sharing on a tour. And we opening with François and Christian Hölzmann and me. We found the circular Tour de Suisse, and on the circular Tour de Suisse, we don't go with crazy PowerPoint presentation. We think, no, we go on tour with real products. And this is one product of our new Sea Lounge. With the Sea Lounge, we go over 15 stops in 2 years in Switzerland and show it's possible. This furniture is made out of waste. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we show it is possible high-end design products or made on waste. And with good partners and many partners, we start this tour. You see, we have a transportation partner in logistics, that's the Swiss Post. We say we cannot going with we want to go to logistic with the Swiss Post, with the packaging logistics. And, ladies and gentlemen, the circular Tour de Suisse starts now here on the GreenUp event. Whoa. Yeah. You see the luggage is here. We are ready. Oh. Wait, I have no one.
Oh, wrong.
Ah, here. So, check our website and follow us for news. Being partner, please contact us. Do you have any questions? Now we are here, and after we are on tour. And we are not. We are like a rock band. Maybe we have no instruments. We have products. See you on tour. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, both of you, and I wish you safe travels.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being with us today and listening in on these powerful conversations. I think if anything is a key takeaway, it's in our hands. Grassroots organizations are super powerful. We need to come together. We need partners. We need luggage. So we can go far together. Before I release all of you, I want to say a huge thank you to Nicole Keller and Christian Jäger for organizing today. Well done. Nicole, can you please join me on stage, because I know you want to tell us what's next. Is it on? Mic is on?
Yes.
Yes,
I think
mic
you
is on.
mentioned it already several times that we have a circular exhibit with very exciting products that you can not only hear about, but touch and talk to the makers. And in addition, we have a wonderful buffet with special tastings. And I think we'll also have a circular mic.
Ooh, I think we have an open mic where brands can present themselves.
Exactly. So if you want to go back then into the theater after having gone around a bit to see and experience what there is, you can come back for the open mic or maybe join it. Who knows? Thank you. Thank you, Dini.
Thank you.
Really well done. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. So.
Hey, how much is your soap? What are you selling it for? Also hohe Rück, kann man sagen. Ja. Das ist bequem. Ja. Danke.
Postladen müssen, gell? Okay, gut. Passt der Hintergrund, Björn? Hier? Passt der Hintergrund?
Nein, eigentlich nicht.
Wollt ihr was anderes sagen?
Ja.
Okay, das geht doch. Das geht doch. Das geht doch. Ist das okay? Ja, okay. Ja. Also, ja, das war doch. Macht Zielkultur, das ist. Das genau. Das genau.
Ja.
Ciao.